intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listener participation program.
Talk today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I'm your guest host, Orrett Connor, and if you're hearing anything in the background, that was me watching live the fact that a new pope has been chosen. The 133 cardinals from 70 different countries have chosen a new pope. I'm not sure whether or not it was on the fourth, fifth, or what round that he was chosen, but it was done by the conclave. So maybe we'll have that to talk about when we return. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen. Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I am your guest host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me right here on radio. Also, follow us on YouTube. We have a toll-free number that is provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also participate by calling 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp number, not sure whether or not that WhatsApp number is working now as well. So you can call us on our WhatsApp number, 925-3261, or just shoot us an email. And yes, the WhatsApp is working well thanks to the expertise of our technical person, our engineer right here in the studio, Mr. Dean Brimmer as well, one of the best. And he has worked in so many various capacities, not only here in the Cayman Islands, but internationally, as well. And if you have a technical issue, if he can't solve it, then probably no one else can do so as well. So we're extremely, extremely thankful to Mr. Dean Brimmer for getting that work done. Some of you may say, well, that's what he's paid to do. That is one thing, but some people get paid to do things and they don't know how to do it as well, while there are others who get paid to do it because they can actually do it. So big shout out to Mr. Dean. And again, we want to give a big shout out to our colleagues here at Radio Cayman. DJ Lynn, had the opportunity to see him as well, and also Mr. Joel Wilson. Big shout out to them. Great to have them back on island and to see DJ Lynn in the studio as well. And I'm sure that many of you, being their fans, would want to extend your best wishes to both of them as well. I believe we have a call coming in on our WhatsApp number. Oh, okay. Let's see what we can share with you as far as news is concerned. This came in today at 11:04. Cabinet Ministers, Parliamentary Secretaries' first day. So it says that yesterday, Wednesday, the 7th of May, marked the first official day in office for new ministers of cabinet and the elected government who began their tenure with a comprehensive orientation on the work of the Cayman Islands government. The orientation session held at the Government Administration Building included presentations by Her Excellency Governor Jane Owen, and the Deputy Governor, Honorable France Manderson, setting a collaborative tone for the new administration. And so that release has come, from the government side. We also saw where the governor's speech to Parliament and to the public was also released, and extremely thankful for that. And we want to share that with you for those of you who never got the opportunity, I should say, to hear her entire speech as well. Meanwhile, it is good news to know also, coming from the Cayman Islands office in the United Kingdom, and for those of you who don't know what that is, that office is where the Cayman Islands is represented, and the person who heads up that office is Dr. Tasha Ebanks Garcia. I hope I'm pronouncing that in a proper way. But it is good to see that has been resumed as well. So why don't we share that with you? It says the Cayman Islands Government Office in the United Kingdom has confirmed the re-establishment of the all-party parliamentary group, known as the APPG, for the Cayman Islands in the United Kingdom Parliament, which will be chaired by Member of Parliament Sarah Champion. This marks the culmination of months of strategic engagement by the Cayman Islands Government Office in the UK with newly elected members of Parliament following the 2024 UK general elections. Following the inaugural general meeting and election of officers on the 7th of May, Cayman is the first Caribbean overseas territory and the third of the UK's 12 inhabited overseas territories to re-establish an APPG, all-party parliamentary group, in the current parliament under newly implemented rules. So there are newly implemented rules as well. Cayman Islands all-party group will serve as a cross-party platform for parliamentarians with an interest in the Cayman Islands, its people, economy, and shared democratic values. It will also play an important role in strengthening the long-standing relationship between the Cayman Islands and the United Kingdom. The establishment of the all-party group follows several months' worth of successful high-level engagements spearheaded by the Cayman Islands Government Office in the United Kingdom, including a parliamentary drop-in session in September last year with participation from the Cayman Islands Deputy Premier and visiting delegation attended by a number of MPs and peers from across the political spectrum. My apologies for that. There were also a series of bilateral meetings in November 2024 between the Premier of the Cayman Islands and the UK Parliament, including the chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee, and I'm going to say that Foreign Affairs Select Committee is a very important and influential committee as well, the Shadow Foreign Secretary, and the Liberal Democrat Foreign Affairs spokesman, and the Liberal Democrat Foreign Affairs spokesman. A parliamentary reception at the Speaker's House earlier this year also had the support of the Minister for the Overseas Territory, Minister for Nature, and parliamentarians across both houses and major political parties. These activities strengthen the Cayman Islands government's voice at the start of the new parliament and under a new Labour administration in the United Kingdom. In commenting on the development, newly sworn-in Premier of the Cayman Islands, Honourable Andre Ebanks stated, and I quote, "I am very pleased to see that the all-party parliamentary group for the Cayman Islands has been re-established in the new UK Parliament. It will provide a valuable forum to bring together parliamentarians from different political parties to discuss issues of shared interest and an important platform to inform policymakers about developments in the Cayman Islands." Before I go to the next paragraph, I should also remind you that our current Premier, Honourable Andre Ebanks, was once headed up the Cayman Islands office in the United Kingdom as well. The release then goes on to say that the Cayman Islands government representative in the UK, Dr. Tasha Ebanks-Garcia, noted that since the UK's general election, the focus has been on developing relations with new members of parliament and understanding how best to engage under the revised parliamentary framework. The re-establishment of the all-party group is an important and exciting milestone, and we look forward to working collaboratively with the new APPG as we continue to foster constructive relations between the United Kingdom Parliament and the Cayman Islands. I am truly humbled by the interest shown in the Cayman Islands. On behalf of the government and people of the Cayman Islands, I wish to express sincere gratitude to each member of our newly formed APPG. All-party parliamentary group chair and member of parliament Sarah Champion is quoted as saying, "I am honored to chair the newly re-established Cayman Islands all-party parliamentary group. The Cayman Islands has a unique and valued relationship with the United Kingdom built on mutual respect and a shared British heritage. I look forward to working with colleagues across Parliament to deepen our understanding of the issues that matter most to Caymanians and to support our special and productive relationship as well." And then we had the Vice Chair, the Right Honourable the Lord Brady of Altrincham, who made some statements as well. This is fairly long, so I will abbreviate it at this point in time. There are some notes that we could take off. Number one, the UK Parliament saw a significant turnover in 2024 of 650 members of Parliament elected. More than half, 335, were new to Parliament. So you had some who returned, but more than half were new to Parliament. Also, the new rules governing the all-party groups were introduced for the new parliament. Under these changes, members of parliament are now limited to holding officer role in a maximum of 6 all-party groups, down from an unlimited number in previous parliaments. A further and significant procedural shift is the requirement for a minimum of 20 cross-party members to register a new all-party group. So before, you had situations where you had members of parliament serving on more than one all-party group. Could be on for various overseas territories as well. That has now been changed, and they can only serve on a maximum of 6 all-party groups as well. With that, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Have you ever dreamed of starting a business that offers an authentic Caymanian product and service and shares the magic of these islands? With the Visitor Experience Development Grant, you could get up to $50,000 to bring your idea to life. From wellness to tech, cultural workshops to food experiences, the opportunity is yours. Applications open from April 15th to May 30th. Take the first step. Visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP today to find out more.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Just a little bit more information now on the selection of the new Pope. So I'm seeing here, come on, scroll for me. Here we go. Says U.S. priest Robert Francis Prevost, Robert Francis Prevost is named as the new Pope and takes the name Leo the 14th. Making sure I get my Roman numerals correct there. That's X with a 1 before the V. That's Leo the 14th as well. So I'm sure that there will be a lot to be said, a lot talked about. That selection probably comes as a huge surprise to many. Very interesting. We'll see what the Americans have to say about that as well. Meanwhile, we're going to stick to local things for now. Don't forget the phone lines are open. You can call us. Our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. Also 949-8037, 949-6990, or WhatsApp number 925-3261. Let's see if we have any WhatsApp messages come in yet. Nothing there as well. So we're going to look at the release of the statement in Parliament on Tuesday, the 6th of May, by the Governor Jane Owen. I believe, I'm trying to look to see when this was actually released, when it was sent out. So it was 1847 when that was sent out on the 6th of May. 1847, that would be 6:47 in the evening. I had commented earlier that it would have been nice for the press to have had a preview of this so that they could provide running commentary as, on whatever shows they were hosting live from Parliament, on this speech as well. Extremely important, extremely symbolic as well. For instance, when our first speaker, National Hero Honorable Sybil Ione McLaughlin, became speaker, the former speaker there, who was, of course, also the governor, also, gave a speech. Bear in mind that there are few opportunities that the Queen's representative gets to make statements in Parliament. Of course, throne speech is one of those, and another one would be the swearing in as well. So let's parse over, or maybe we'll just do it verbatim, or what was said there. She started by saying that I'm greatly honored to be taking part in this swearing-in ceremony following the general elections in our Cayman Islands on the 30th of April. I know that His Majesty, King Charles III, and the British government, including our Minister for the Overseas Territories, Stephen Doughty, join me in celebrating Cayman's democratic tradition and affirming the United Kingdom's commitment to continuing to build a strong partnership with the new government. We are gathered together today in this hallowed hall of Cayman's democracy to welcome and formally confirm the 19 representatives who were successfully returned by our electorate. Congratulations to you all, and I look forward to working with you as we plan to deliver for our people over the coming 4 years in this Parliament. My thoughts are, in particular, with those newly elected members of Parliament here for the first time, and I wish a warm welcome back to all those who are returning to this chamber. I think I can also express on all of our behalves gratitude to those who stood for election but were not successful. We recognize their endeavors and their ideas and hope they will take heart from the experience and continue to contribute to the policy debate. I wish to take a moment here to reflect upon the last 4 years. Again, I'm reading from her speech. I want to take a moment here to reflect upon the last 4 years, 2 during my time as governor, and acknowledge the leadership of Premier Juliana O'Connor Connolly and former Premier Wayne Panton. To your deputies, your ministers, and parliamentary secretaries over these past years. You have all shown great commitment and dedication in your service to our communities, and your achievements will remain part of the building blocks of our history. So true. Today brings us to the conclusion of the election process as we stand on the threshold of our incoming administration. Since I announced the date of the election back in December, I have observed the democratic path that has brought us to this ceremony in Parliament today. Our general election was carried out as in our tradition in a free, fair, and transparent manner, which should make us all proud, and we certainly are. Those are my words. In that context, I pay tribute to our supervisor of elections, Mr. Wes Howell, his deputies, Ms. Sheena Glasgow and Ms. Shavella Burke, and over 300 polling staff and volunteers, the police and special constables, and many others who worked so hard to ensure a robust process. Over these past weeks, I have been impressed by how our polling staff teams have enthusiastically dedicated their time and efforts in training and preparation. I have seen how the mobile and postal voting, which has doubled since the last election, has facilitated participation for those with reduced mobility, for our emergency services, our polling staff, and for those traveling or living abroad. I would also like to thank the electorate or people for taking part and for making your vote count. Collectively, you have helped foster our sense of civil pride. You have helped to foster a sense of civil pride. In this election, there were 25,643 registered voters in Cayman, an increase of over 2,000 for the year 2021. We achieved a high voter turnout of 73%, which is impressive by any international standards, although I am sure we would like to see absolutely everyone who is eligible to vote making the effort to exercise that right, particularly among our young people who represent the future aspirations and opportunities of Cayman. We're going to take a break now because this still have a few more paragraphs to read, and we're going to take a commercial break at this time. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome to today's Midday Meditation, brought to you by Safe Harbor Lutheran Church. I am Pastor Paul.
Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. Psalm 46, verse 10. After the resurrection, Jesus appeared to his frightened disciples. They were locked away, hiding from the Jews, feeling uncertain and lost. Before he arrived, they were full of dread and unease. What would happen to them now that their Savior was dead? And Jesus hadn't died of old age or illness. No, he was executed in a terrible public way. So what would become of them? In the midst of their fears, Jesus appeared to them, bidding them peace. Was he a ghost, a figment of their imagination? No, he showed them his hands and his feet and his scars. This is the way Jesus identifies himself to his frightened and confused disciples. He identifies himself by his wounds. This is also the way Jesus shows himself to us. We know him through his scars, because through his death he attained for us forgiveness and eternal life. This is poured out to us in his word, in baptism, and in the sacrament of the altar. And he gives us eternal peace. We pray, dear Heavenly Father, thank you for sending your Son to be the sacrifice for our sin. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for your scars by which we know that you have died and are risen again for us. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for enlightening our hearts with faith. Amen.
You're welcome to join us every Sunday, 10 a.m. at Safe Harbor Lutheran Church, 20 Memorial Crescent, or call us at 926-5491 for more information. God bless your day.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo footlong cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points. Or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo footlong cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
The Economics and Statistics Office is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 13th. The surveys collect information to answer questions like, how did the economy perform in 2024? In 2024, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms, or for more information, visit eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I'm your guest host, Orrett Connor, and I was sharing with you the governor's speech to Parliament on Tuesday, the 6th of May. The last part that before we went to the commercial break had to do with her talking about the number of registered voters, the voter turnout of 73%, and also the fact that we would like to see absolutely everyone who is eligible to vote make the effort to exercise that right, and particularly amongst young people who represent the future aspirations and opportunities of Cayman. She went on to point out that we were joined over the last week by an international election observer mission from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. She pointed out that she was pleased to note that their initial findings are positive, that they confirm a robust ballot process, and that they highlighted Cayman's inclusive and welcoming attitude to all voters. She pointed out that we are also grateful for the work of our domestic observer mission of 7 persons, very ably led by Ms. Deborah Ebanks. We look forward to receiving detailed reports from both missions in due course and hope that the incoming government will take steps to address some key areas in their reports for future development, including more transparent campaign financing, reviewing our constituency boundaries, and developing our regulations around social media. So those are the 3 points that 3 areas that she highlighted. More transparent campaign financing, something which it seems as if no matter how much you try to twist politicians' arms, because they all enjoy the benefits of it and all enjoy the loopholes that we have in our campaign financing legislation, which forms a part of our elections law. It is very difficult to get anything done. So maybe we can squeeze it out of this new parliament that we have, as well. Constituency boundaries, we need not talk about that. We know what happened, with the last boundaries report as well. And developing our regulations around social media. That one will be extremely challenging as well. She then went on to say that as we gather today, we also note the results of a referendum held concurrently with the election on the 30th of April. These results are clear, although they are not binding, and the government will have discretion in how it proceeds to develop policies in regard to the 3 issues under deliberation in ways that best support the will and the interests of our people. And then she went on to say, and to our new premier and his government. She pledged to work with them in partnership and trust, respecting the government's autonomy in domestic affairs, ensuring together that we uphold good governance and the rule of law, the separation of powers, and integrity in all we do. She also said that she would work with them to fulfill her own responsibilities for internal security in particular, as we protect and promote the security of our population in all areas of national life and work. So again, there she pointed out where the separation of power lies, her responsibilities, the responsibilities, of the government. But while those may differ, there is still that opportunity to work together. That's the way it has always worked. Those are my words, of course, folks. She then goes on to say that I want to thank today the Deputy Governor, whose civil service, and the Attorney General and his chamber, the Deputy Governor, the whole civil service, and the Attorney General and his chambers for the support you continue to afford me and the Cabinet in implementing the policies developed by the government and approved by Parliament. We are fortunate in Cayman to benefit from a professional and passionate public service, and everyone in that public service join me looking forward with enthusiasm to tackling the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. As we prepare to welcome our incoming government today, the United Kingdom reinforces its commitment to Cayman as a British overseas territory, recalling the enduring partnership that we both continue to enjoy. I hope that honorable members will join me today in recognizing that this relationship brings significant benefits through the United Kingdom's position within the United Nations and in many international decision-making bodies in the fields of trade, finance, health, defense, climate, and development, to name but a few. She goes on to say that I believe there is much scope to develop our partnership further as we plan for the future at a time of global dissonance and friction. It is a good moment to treasure close friends and shared values. In closing, I want to say to all the parliamentarians gathered today, to our new Premier and the leader of the official opposition, we are all privileged to serve the people of the Cayman Islands. Together, we have so much to be thankful for. We treasure our islands and everything they stand for, and we treasure each other, including through our different backgrounds, different perspectives, different priorities. It is often through finding a middle way that we can build a successful future. So let us today all celebrate that special Cayman kindness to each other and the unity that it inspires. The last verse of our national song sums up eloquently our desire to respect and value each other. And that last verse of our national song she read, which was, when tired of all excitement and glamorous worldly care, how sweet thy shores to reach and find a welcome there. And when comes on the season of peace, goodwill to man, 'tis then I love thee best of all, beloved Isle Cayman. And she went on to say, God bless our beloved Cayman Islands. And without those words, our national song, Miss Leela Ross Shire, nothing more beautiful, no words more beautifully put down on paper than what she has done. And that is why she is one of our national heroes. It took us long to get there, but we finally recognized her as a national hero as well. With that, we're going to go to our news headline at 1 o'clock. Please stay tuned. Talk Today will be back immediately after the
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation
on a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Yesterday,
today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
I'm April Cummings with your latest headlines. Catholics in the Cayman Islands and around the world have a new pope at this hour. Cardinal Robert Prevost has taken the name Pope Leo XIV and is the first American pope in history. He addressed a massive crowd in St. Peter's Square a short time ago. Also making headlines, U.S. President Donald Trump has agreed to cut tariffs on UK autos, steel, and aluminum in a planned trade deal with Britain, which would buy more American beef and streamline its customs process for goods from the U.S. The Pakistani military says India fired drones into Pakistan today, killing at least 2 civilians. India, meanwhile, accuses its neighbor of attempting its own attack as tensions soar between the nuclear-armed rivals. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Henry Watson Ruddy, ISO, 1870 to 1943. Henry Watson Ruddy came to Cayman Brac as a young man with his father, William H. Ruddy, who was the first Baptist missionary to Cayman Brac and started the Baptist mission there. Dr. Henry Ruddy was born and educated in Jamaica and came to Cayman Brac as a young man. He was one of the first civil servants in the Sister Islands, holding the post of Collector of Customs. He was also the only medical dispenser on Cayman Brac which had no doctor. He mixed and dispensed medicines and also did minor surgeries, saving numerous lives. At times, he assisted his wife, Julia Ann Nee Lazari, a midwife who delivered nearly all the babies born on the Brac during Dr. Ruddy's term of service. He was also a school teacher and a preacher. On his retirement, his son Aston took over his government responsibilities.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer. Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I am your guest host, Orrett Connor, and one of our listeners has sent a message, and I will share that with you, and then we can comment about it as well. So this person says, good day. If we take time to analyze the election results, we can confirm 2 facts. Number 1, because the election and the referendum were held on one ballot, we are unable to conclude how many electors voted in the general election. A significant number of young people stated that they voted only for the referendum issue. In the future, we should separate elections and referenda in order to better track the participation for each. Okay, I'm just reading this now, so I haven't had an opportunity to analyze it further or to even go and see what we have posted, what the Supervisor of Elections has posted on their website in terms of the results. So let's parse through this again. It says, because the election and the referendum were held on one ballot, we are unable to conclude how many electors voted in the general election. Well, that part I'm going to take right away. We know how many persons voted in the general election, but we don't know, and what this person is saying, we really don't. The question is, do we know how many voted only for candidates and how many voted only for the referendum question? Okay, yeah. Then they go on to say, 2, the gambling and ganja referenda results indicate the will of those who voted, but if taken as a percentage of the registered voters, they both fall short of 50% plus. Fall short of the 50 plus 1 standard. It is factual to state that less than half of our registered voters supported these questions. And then they go on to say that 73% voter participation rate, the 73% voter participation rate in the election should be noted with an asterisk as the referendum was included. Okay, point well taken. But there is also a saying, just to address one part of this, if you don't get out there and vote, then you don't have a voice. So those persons who chose not to vote, and if it fell short of the 50% plus 1, should we just simply ignore the results because of that? Because in this particular case, the 50% plus 1 requirement was not necessary. So should we ignore it because of that? Because if we did that, then, to defeat any referendum, what you would basically say to people, stay home and don't vote, especially when you have to meet that 50% plus 1 threshold as well. But very interesting. Wouldn't mind a follow-up on it in terms of what I have commented on, to see if you agree, or for more clarity, as well on that. This person has written in and said we need to sing our full national song. We do ourselves an injustice. And I would venture to say that there are many people who know by heart the first stanza, and after that they don't know the rest as well, probably because of force of habit, because we only sing and recite the first part and not the song in full, which is unfortunate because it is so beautiful. Then the person wanted to know, where did I get a copy of Her Excellency's speech, as I would like a copy for the, I can send it to you. I can send it to that person. So I will arrange to send the copy. Like I said, it was released at 1840-something on Tuesday evening, 1840-something on Tuesday evening, which which was after the fact, and which I've pointed out before, that it would have been fine if it had been put out before and embargoed, so it would have given a little bit more details and a little bit more to for commentators to talk about during the swearing-in ceremony as well. But we're extremely grateful, for that coming out, for them releasing it, even if by some it could have come earlier. Okay, let's go back to the papacy. Like I said, Americans should be proud. You heard our own April Cummins here on our headline news at 1 o'clock talking about Robert Francis Prevost, who is the new Pope, an American. First time that an American has become Pope. Some of the key facts, this is coming from the Guardian's website, talks about the Vatican number one. He is 69. He's a 69-year-old American. He's the first Augustinian Pope. So the first Augustinian Pope as well. He was born in Chicago, Illinois, to parents of French, Italian, and Spanish descent. He has two brothers, Louis Martin and John Joseph. He studied in the United States and entered the Nativiate in St. Louis, the United States, before receiving theological education in Chicago. He was sent to Rome at the age of 27 to study canon law, where he was ordained as a priest. His long-standing connection with Peru dates back to 1985, when he served as an Augustinian when he served in an Augustinian mission in Chululianas, Peru. He later joined a separate mission in Trujillo, Peru. He was made Bishop of Chiclayo, Peru in 2015. He was promoted to Archbishop in 2023 and was created as a cardinal in 2024. So that means that he would have been appointed by Pope Francis as well. I'm going to pause there for a second. I'm no Catholic. I'm no expert in the papacy or anything else. But listening to the news, listening to pundits, listening to debates about this whole issue, there were questions as to whether or not Pope Francis's agenda would continue. And of course, we know, just like in any type of a family, biological or otherwise, there is always dissent, there's always differences. And there were some who wanted to the Catholic Church to get back to its traditional roots, while others were thinking in terms of modernization of the church, part of which Pope Francis, the late Pope Francis, represented as well. So if he was appointed created as a cardinal in 2024, it would have been by Pope Francis. So it will be interesting to see the direction that the Catholic Church moves in with the new Pope as well. Is there anything else here that I can share? So it was promoted there. Then it goes, there's an article that talks about the fact that the new pontiff will have to hit the ground running on many urgent issues, starting with the conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East, to migration, climate crisis, and schisms in the church, which I spoke about earlier. The honeymoon period for the new pope will be short. That is what one journalist, Harriet Sherwood, in the Guardian, has pointed out as well. She points out also that the Roman Catholic Church has a new leader. Once the prayers are over and the crowds have dispersed from St. Peter's Square, what issues must the new pope grapple with? Talk about church unity, for instance. A key task will be to strengthen unity within the church amid growing polarization in the world and different views and expectations within the church. Some observers believe there is a real risk of schism after 20 years in which there have been popes on either end of the spectrum. The traditional / conservative Benedict the 15th? No, Benedict the 16th, sorry. The traditional conservative Benedict the 16th and the liberal progressive Francis. In the field of international diplomacy, the Pope has an important role to play on the international stage, particularly to ensure that religion does not become a fault line. He will face ongoing conflict in Ukraine, the Middle East, and Sudan, plus the politically divisive issues of migration, the climate crisis, religious freedoms, and human rights. I would also opine that it is quite possible that you will see them come in conflict with the Trump administration as well, with the Pope and his agenda coming in conflict with the Trump administration. Now, in mentioning, talking about international diplomacy, we see what is now occurring between India and Pakistan. So that is another issue that will have to be dealt with as well. Here's the big one, the elephant in the room, sexual abuse. The legacy of sexual abuse cast a long shadow over Francis's papacy. He was slow to grasp the scale and systemic nature of the problem, and at first did not understand the pain and anger of survivors. That pain has not gone away, and the new Pope's approach will inevitably come under intense scrutiny. As far as governance is concerned, the new Pope will need to take decisions on governance within the church, including the pace of change and the levels of inclusion regarding laity and women. He will need to make key appointments within days to get the new papacy up and running. As far as Vatican finances are concerned, and I'm not taking credit for what I'm sharing with you here. This is an article written by Harriet Sherwood for The Guardian. It was only written about 19 minutes ago, as well. So, the Vatican finances, There are two aspects of this for the new Pope's attention: general oversight and transparency, on which there was significant progress under Pope Francis, but still more to do, and the unsustainable levels of deficit in the Vatican finances, which deteriorated during Francis's papacy. Well, I'm going to pause there for a second. It is heartening to know that not only in the Cayman Islands that we're talking, about shortfalls and deficits and not adhering, not fully being compliant with the FFR. We see that even the papacy, even Vatican City, experiencing that as well. I guess as long as it has to do, with money, there will always be challenges in terms of, how much you spend, where you spend it as well, and who you should be accountable to. Sexuality and identity. On that topic, she says that Francis shifted the church's dial on issues relating to sexuality and identity, condemning discrimination against LGBTQ plus people, meeting trans men and women, and authorizing the blessings of same-sex couples. Francis's standpoint prompted a backlash amongst traditionalists, and the new pope will be watched closely for his views. So let's see. Here it's pointing out that Donald Trump, the U.S. president, has congratulated Leo the 14th and that he looks forward to meeting. Says congratulations to Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, who was just named Pope. It is such an honor to realize that he's the first American Pope. What excitement and what a great honor for our country. I look forward to meeting Pope Leo the 14th. It will be a very meaningful moment. So in his first comments, the new Pope calls for the light of Christ to serve, and I quote, as a bridge to God's love. He recalled the words of St. Augustine, for you I am a bishop, but with you I am a Christian. He also said a few words addressed to the Church of Rome and thanked his now former diocese in Chiclayo, Peru, as well. What else can we share with you? Messages of peace and unity. In his first comments, he said that he wants this message of peace to enter your hearts, to reach your families and all people wherever they are. Paying tribute to Pope Francis, he urges faithful to move forward without fear, united, hand in hand with God and with each other. He also thanked fellow cardinals for choosing him for the role. What is going to be interesting is whether or not we will get any information as to how the voting went along, in each stage as well. Very, very interesting. And folks, while we're talking religion, I'm sure that there was a whole lot of politicking going on, there as well when this, was taking place. And for an American to come out on top as the Pope, I think that in itself speaks volumes. That speaks volumes, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if we get information as to how all of that transpired as well. Let me check our WhatsApp messages to see if we have any more, Miss Susan, on there before we go on. Yes. Okay. Person say that they found it on the CNS website, the governor's speech at the swearing-in ceremony as well. So again, glad you were able to get that. What I want to look at, if time will allow, I'm not sure. Our guests for the studio, anyone in there yet, Susan, for any guests? If we don't have any guests, we want to take a look at the Observer Mission Reports. We want to look at the 2021, and of course, we only have a preliminary one on the recently concluded elections as well. But if you look at 2021 and see some of the recommendations that were made, whether or not those recommendations, any of those recommendations, were acted upon, some of them extremely important, extremely pivotal to us moving forward. We brag about the high turnout. We brag about a certain amount of transparency. We talk, they have spoken about the courtesy and everything of the election staff, supervisor of elections, and his staff as well. Lots of compliments being showered upon them, which is good. Has to do with a whole lot of training and, having experienced election workers each election period as well. The need for a referendum law is so important. We here in Cayman, we have become complacent simply because, as it stands now, for every referendum, you create a new referendum law. And basically what it is cutting and pasting from the, and when I say cut and paste, I'm not sure whether or not in computer language that still occurs, because with artificial intelligence and everything else, I'm sure that they probably have come up with something else now rather than cut and paste. But that's what we end up with when we craft a referendum law as well. And there are advantages to that, and then at the same time there are disadvantages, and there are possible pitfalls as well, when we do that. So extremely important for us to have a permanent referendum act in place. That shouldn't take too long to do. If the government is thinking about low-hanging fruit, that's one that it would need to do. But of course, it would need to go through Parliament. They would need to have Parliament's consent to be able to do that. But that is one of the issues that we could address here in the Cayman Islands as soon as possible. With that, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
We were on the edge of a breakthrough. I knew the substance was extraterrestrial, but I didn't realize.
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long, the entire lab exploded, and the radioactive sludge went everywhere. I ended up in the hospital for a few weeks, but I was able to manage everything with the CG Online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britgay. Good like that.
If you or your loved one is facing cancer, only Sylvester will stand firmly by your side at every step, from diagnosis through survivorship, providing you and your family peace of mind and assisting with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center is South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center and specializes in treating the most complex cancer cases. Your first-class cancer care is just a flight away. Learn more at sylvester.org.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I want to remind you, our phone lines are open. Maybe if you're Catholic and you have a position in relation to the selection of the Pope, please feel free to call in. Our toll-free number, 1-800-534-825 or 949-8037, 949-6990, or WhatsApp number 925-3261. You can call us in on that number, that WhatsApp number, or just send us some comments as well, 925-3261. Meanwhile, I'm still, in the Guardian newspaper, and here is what they had commented on and written before the conclave arrived at a selection of a pope, right? Says, here's our profile of Prevost from before the conclave. Despite the Vatican's long-standing opposition to the idea of a pope from the United States because of the country's superpower status and secular global influence, the moderate Chicago-born Prevost is still one to watch. This is what they wrote. Let's see when they actually wrote that. Not sure. But it goes on to say, created a cardinal by Francis in 2023, the former leader of the Augustinian order was also appointed by the late Pope to the powerful dicastery for bishops, which oversees the selection of new bishops from around the world. Those senior roles, combined with the fact that he has significant missionary experience in Peru having served as bishop of the northern city of Chiclayo, may go some way to redeeming him in the eyes of those who would not usually countenance the idea of an American pope. So they wrote that at that point in time. They said he was one to watch. I think there was some expectation. Some people believe that maybe the Pope would come from places like the Philippines or someplace like that as well. But we have seen now on 2 consecutive occasions that they have moved away from Europe, and some may say becoming, much more inclusive and more representation of the Catholic reach around the world, as opposed to just Europe as well. Okay. Anything else that I can share with you before we go on in relation to this way? Raul Paredes and his family of Colombia were dancing flags. Nope, don't want to need anything. Okay. So let's switch back to local issues. One of our listeners has written and asked. He says, I wonder if you could comment on this. Both Cayman Mall Road and the Compass, the media expressed surprise that Joey was nominated to be premier when the ballot was being taken. Apparently, they have short memories or do not know the Constitution. Some commenters on CMR suggested that this was somehow wrong. It seems like some believe that Andre became premier at the moment he was recommended on Thursday, 1st of May. My understanding is that according to Section 49, subsection 3 of our Constitution, he was only appointed after the secret ballot was held. One question: if a party had won 10 or more seats, could the governor appoint the premier as soon as that party informed him or her, or does the appointment tend to have to wait until the first meeting of Parliament after the election? Okay. To the last question, if a party had won 10 or more seats, could the governor appoint the premier as soon as the party inform him or her? My answer to that would be yes, and I will take a look at Section 49. What it basically says is that if a party obtains a majority of the seats of Parliament, and a majority would be 10, then a majority of that majority, which means 6 out of the 10, if they affixed their signatures to a document to the governor stating that we have the majority and this is the individual that we're going to select as our premier, the Constitution makes provisions for that. It is only when no party gains a majority, which means that they cannot fulfill the requirements of Section 49.2, then we move to Section 49.3, where they have to go down to the Parliament and then elect a premier. Let's back up for a second in terms of what I said, before. if Section 49(2) could be complied with, then what they would have done is they would have gone down there to swear in the premier as opposed to voting for the premier. And if you recall, I have stated on several occasions that sometimes in other jurisdictions, and I use one that I follow quite closely, Bermuda. In Bermuda, it probably would have taken place at Government House, where the premier would have been sworn in, as well as the Attorney General. Now, our Attorney General here in the Cayman Islands, he is a civil servant, even though he's a part of Cabinet and a part of the Parliament, but is a civil servant, not coming from the elected arm, whereas in Bermuda, comes from the elected arm of government. But if a party, and I'm going to repeat this again, it's going to sound repetitive because, you know, some people have difficulty accepting the fact. But if a party obtains the majority of seats in our parliament, the number of seats in our parliament is 19. So a majority is 10. Some may say not a comfortable majority, but the Constitution doesn't say that it has to be a comfortable majority, it just says it has to be a majority. Once they obtain a majority of 10 seats in our parliament, then the majority of that majority, 6 out of the 10, can indicate to the governor that they have chosen an individual to be premier, and that is basically the end of the story. Once the governor accepts that, that's the end of the story as far as the premiership is concerned, and they would then go down to our parliament to basically swear in the premier. That's all that would happen. Now, what this writer didn't mention in this, and I'm hearing a lot of talk about it, and I had a conversation with a very, very close friend. We talk politics all the time. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree. Many times he brings clarity to things that I don't fully understand, but because of his experience with it, you know, I tend to get it afterwards. Some people believe that it was trivial for the person mentions this in here, for the leader of the People's Progressive Movement to be nominated and seconded. Here in Cayman, sometimes we have this tendency to be nice all of the time. I saw it as strategic because my understanding was that even up until the day of swearing in, pressures were being put on individuals to switch their allegiance. And there were some members of parliament who said, I can't wait for this to be over so that the pressure can be, off me in that regard. So one of the things that by nominating someone else, you never knew what the results would be. You didn't know. Someone could switch at the last minute, but they may have done that at the risk of peril of their political future, and it would probably be figured out at the end of the day who switched. But by calling the vote, we saw exactly where people stand, and we saw that the coalition held their ground, held their numbers, and that the opposition's numbers didn't increase at all. Like I said, some people see that as being trivial. It should not have occurred, that it spoiled the whole atmosphere and thing, in terms of the swearing in, but it is a part of the process. And, whether or not an individual or a party chooses to do that, that is really up to them. Let's take the commercial break. We do have a caller. We're going to take that caller as soon as we return. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway, eat fresh.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. We're going straight to our caller. Caller on WhatsApp, Miss Susan. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, OC. I've called a little bit late because I want to say something about the Pope. But before I say that, let me just continue with what you've been talking about in relation to the Premier. The election of the Premier. Well, first of all, you've summed it up the way it is in the Constitution, Section 49, and just the practices surrounding it. So that certainly is correct, and you don't need me to validate that. But I think there's some issues perhaps that we could discuss in relation to that. Now, way back about 22, 23 years ago in the British Virgin Islands, it so happened that there was a government in power. That government had only a majority of one. And so what happened is that in the dark of night, the opposition poached one member of the government, and then they went to the governor and they said, we now have the numbers. We have the numbers. Can you now appoint our leader of the opposition as a premier? Because under the Constitution, if it appears to you that X has got the majority, then you can appoint, and that it says nothing in the Constitution that there should be a vote in the House. So they wanted the government to change like that. But what the governor said, after consulting the then Attorney General there, was, well, technically, yes, I can do that. But in the circumstances, I think you are better off going to Parliament in the morning, move a vote of no confidence and then bring the government in that way, because if I do it outside of Parliament, it may wind up being controversial. And what happened was then they took that route, and in the morning, they couldn't move the motion of no confidence because that particular person who had switched was dismissed. A new person was appointed and made minister, and therefore they held the government. And the reason I give that example is that there can be problems when you try to form the government like outside, you know. And yet the way you summed it up is correct. That's the way it is. The governor can say, well, on the basis of this letter that I've received, it is signed with authentic signatures. I'm going to do that because, like in England, for example, if an election takes place and Labour has got, I don't know, 400 seats, the other have got 150, there's no doubt about it. The Queen appoints. Now, was there anything wrong with the vote being held? No, there was nothing wrong with the vote being held. But if, say, the vote had gone differently from what the governor had already declared, do you see how there might have been a problem? Because then the governor would have declared that, well, Andre is the premier designate and I accept his documents. But then when it goes to a vote, let us imagine Joey had won. Okay, then you would have wound up in that conflict.
Yeah,
and
because if I may, Billy, because in the case, the signatures that went to the governor was only to convene Parliament. Only to convene Parliament, the 11 signatures that went there, really.
When they also stating that, were they not indicating that Andre Ebanks commands the support of the majority of the members of the Legislative Assembly, and therefore that he should be appointed premier? I thought that's what the signatures also were indicating.
Okay, I would have I didn't see the document itself, but based on the Constitution, that could be the only thing that they could ask the governor to do. You know, it was to convene Parliament so that they could go down there and elect Section 49(3) to elect a premier.
Well, okay, in the sense that, yes, Parliament is normally convened on the advice of the premier, then that recommendation should not have been made by Andre, it should have been made by Juliana, because she's the one who was still premier until the new government comes in. But I think this demonstrates one thing. There is need to clarify how that is done. When do you appoint the premier? Should it be done by vote in the House? I think that Section 49 should make it very clear, rather than just say, well, this will be given to whoever the governor judges to have enough votes. It should be said that after the election, the governor should convene in the House, and the first business in the House will be to appoint the premier and so on and so forth. I think that will be easier for people to understand, and also some of these very valid questions that you are raising, and which I'm also considering that I think should be dealt with. I think they will be clarified. If this is a teachable moment, I think they should have done that. Now, there was also the issue I was discussing with some people about whether the vote should be, well, first of all, some people say, but why was Joey and the PPM, why did they put him forward as a nominee when they knew they were going to lose? Now, I'm not quite sure that you can say that they knew they were going to lose. Again, go back into history. You remember the time when the PPM was about to bring down the government? They held a press conference, and then the House was convened, and it was expected that they would bring down the government because they had talked to some people who said they were going to vote with them.
Yeah.
But did those people vote with them? No, they didn't. It didn't work. So the PPM were just saying, well, look, we do not know whether it will people will vote in favor of Andre or in favor of Joey. Let us test it. Let us go out there and let us see what's going to happen. Also, sometimes politically you want it to be recorded that everybody on the government side did vote for Andre, because politically, let us imagine tomorrow Andre knock on wood, has got some problems internally, the PPM want to be able to say that, well, look, what are you complaining about? All of you voted for him. They want that to be recorded for political purposes. So they would have done it for two reasons. Either there was a possibility somebody might be, as you were saying, people were still being pressured to the last minute, or even if they knew they were not going to win, still they could say, well, we want it recorded. Just like in Parliament, very often you can have a voice vote, as you know, and sometimes you can demand a recorded vote so that for political purposes, you know how people have voted. So it's very interesting. But I mean, that all said, the technicality, we wish Andre, the new young premier, we wish him well. All the polls were showing that people wanted him to be premier. It will be a very big challenge. Some of the people in there are a little bit raw, but I think he has the potential to be a good premier. But what people should recognize as well is that even as this government is taking power, there are people who are pressuring this government not to do what it has promised. And that the people must keep the pressure up. I think Andre must announce within a month to 6 weeks which direction his party is going in relation to immigration, jobs, and some of the other important issues. And he must be able to do some legislation within 6 months. I don't think that he can afford saying, well, we'll look at it in 6 months, in 9 months, in 12 months until, no. Just the mood in the country is do it now or get out and get somebody else to do it.
Okay, one of the issues, we're gonna go to our headline news in a few minutes, but if I can, I'm going to keep you on because we're going to go back to the specific text of the Constitution in relation to Section 49. But
okay, sure.
But one of the big topics has been immigration, right? The granting of permanent residence and then moving on to Caymanian status. I thought that if the government agrees, like many of the members say that they wanted changes with that you have to close the door as quickly as possible, even if it's temporarily closing the door. From a legal standpoint, what would prevent the government from convening Parliament, having revision legislation to remove the granting of permanent residence based on the point system and based on residence alone and Caymanian status for the time being until they can bring new legislation in? Do you see that being challenged, successfully challenged?
Not if it's done properly. In fact, I've discussed this with a number of people because people do appreciate that perhaps to change the law and get into the details of how it will be in the long term might take a while to do. They are thinking of doing something for the moment to sort of like stop the bleeding, if you like.
Right.
And then after you stop the bleeding, and then you have a little more time to be able to consider that. Now, if government wanted to do that, they can do that, but they have to remember that it cannot be done administratively. You remember the case which we talked about one time on one show together with Dr. Steve, where there was a moratorium on the grant of PR and status. But when it went to court, the court said, no, you cannot grant a moratorium administratively. If we want a moratorium, it has to be granted. It has to be given in the legislation itself. Okay, so if Andre wants to proceed on those lines, what he has to do is go to Parliament and be able to and say the legislation is amended that all grant of PR and status is suspended by an act of Parliament directly, pending review of the legislation. If he does that, and if you go by the decision that exists in the Grand Court, that would be valid. What would not be valid is to do it administratively and say we've stopped doing that, because that will run into the same problem.
And but what about legitimate expectation of those who have already submitted their application?
Oh, good question. Good question, Osi. Under the law, there is no legitimate expectation that the law will never change.
Okay.
That is a very clear law. There is a legitimate expectation at an administrative level, but there is no legitimate expectation that law will never change. For example, if you want, you can even say, including those who have already applied, and including those people who are already in the Cayman Islands at the moment, that status is not going to be granted until the legislation is changed. But you have to be very, very clear, because if you just amend the law now, you change the requirements, but you do not say how it affects pending applications and how it affects those who are already in Cayman who are saying, hey, look, I've already been here 4 years. If you do not specifically say that it covers all those, then the law, by implication, it will say that you don't cover those who are already in Cayman. So you have to specifically cover that.
I'm going to ask you to stay with us for a while. We're going to go to a quick headline news, and when we come back, we want to go back to Section 49 of Cayman Islands Constitution Order 2009. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
Deputy Governor the Honourable Franz Manderson assures the new government of the civil service's full support. In Parliament Wednesday, the Deputy Governor highlighted the work done to prepare for the transition, and he also thanked civil servants for their professionalism during the election period. In international news, cancer in people under the age of 50 is on the rise. A new government study in the U.S. finds the largest increases are in breast, colorectal, kidney, and uterine cancers. Scientists from the National Cancer Institute looked at data that included more than 2 million cancers diagnosed in people between the ages of 15 and 49 between 2010 and 2019. Of 33 cancer types, 14 had increasing rates in at least one younger age group. About 63% of the early onset cancers were among women. The findings were published in Cancer Discovery, a journal of the American Association for Cancer Research. In Jamaica, trailer drivers who walked off the job at Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited over working conditions have returned to the job. The drivers returned to their duties after a meeting between their association, the terminal, and the Port Authority of Jamaica. Kingston Freeport Terminal says it will extend hours to make up for the disruption and better serve its customers. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Have you ever dreamed of starting a business that offers an authentic Caymanian product and service and shares the magic of these islands? With the Visitor Experience Development Grant, you could get up to $50,000 to bring your idea to life. From wellness to tech, cultural workshops to food experiences, the opportunity is yours. Applications open from April 15th to May 30th. Take the first step. Visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP today to find out more.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We have less than, about 25 minutes left to go in the show. I still have Mr. Billy Samamba on the line with me. So Billy, Section 49, subsection 1, 2, 3. Subsection 1 says the Premier shall be appointed by the Governor as follows. In the first case, where a political party gains a majority of the seats of elected members of the Legislative Assembly, the Governor shall appoint as Premier the elected member of the Assembly recommended by a majority of the elected members who are members of that party. So I think that is pretty crystal clear there that could be that appointment can take place if there is a clear majority, and then a clear majority of that majority approaches the governor with that. Correct?
Exactly, because it says recommended by a majority. It doesn't say that it must be recommended following a vote in the assembly.
Right,
So
right.
It can be done here. Yes.
And then subsection 3 now, if no political party gains a majority of, or if no recommendation is made under subsection 2, right? The Speaker shall cause a ballot to be held amongst the elected members of the Legislative Assembly to determine which elected member commands the support of the majority of the members, and shall record the vote of each member voting. And where such a ballot is held, the Governor shall appoint as Premier the elected member who obtains a majority of the votes for the elected members. So that is the second process, the one that we followed on Tuesday.
Yes, that's the one we followed on Tuesday. That's the one we followed on Tuesday, and then it produced a result. Yes.
So, where would you suggest that we seek more clarity in relation to those two subsections, 2 and 3? I think clarity should be more in 2, where it says elected member of the Legislative Assembly recommended by a majority. I think that in every case after an election, there should be a vote moved in the assembly to elect the premier. This thing where you've got 2, which says, if a political party gains a majority, or if no political party gains a majority, I don't think we need that. I think all it needs should be, once the election is done, then there should be a vote in the assembly either way. Even if you are sure that, for example, one party has gained a majority, even if that has happened, it is better to just have one process. There should be a vote in the assembly whether or not the governor thinks that somebody has won an absolute majority or not, so that you do not wind up with this possibility again that you see the premier might decide that I'm going to appoint X because he has been recommended, and then later on, let us imagine the vote is moved, and then the vote goes the other way, because under this, I don't know if the governor did actually effect an appointment. It didn't effect an appointment because the instrument of appointment, I guess, were given in the House. Yes, that's right.
But I don't know what exactly. So I don't know whether he, once she received that letter, whether she did indicate anything. I imagine the instruments of appointment would have been prepared on the basis of the letter. Okay. That's when they should have been prepared. So, but to me, I think that it's unnecessary to have this thing where it can be determined outside, it can be determined inside. It should all just go to a vote.
Okay.
That's all.
Makes it simpler as well, and gives certainty to everything. Yeah. So help me with this one now. This person has written and said, in my opinion, the Constitution needs to be rewritten to accommodate for the single member constituency, or less we will always end up with a coalition government in this small island. They go on to say that whichever party has the most candidates should rule the government. Nothing wrong with a minority ruling government. If independents get in, they form the government once they have enough for the minister's position. Well, I think this writer needs to understand, what takes place in Parliament after, and how you end up getting laws passed as well. If you try to operate with a minority government with no support.
Yeah, you see, a couple of things with that, because certain things you can't avoid, right? I mean, once people have voted under the current system, you can wind up, as we did about 2 election cycles ago, where the independents were the majority, and I think they formed a government.
Right
now, the practical problem with that is that they didn't have specific party policies, no party discipline. As a result, it was a problem. But to me, that's one of the issues that needs to be looked at by way of constitutional reform. But sometimes you just have to accept that sometimes the result that is produced by the democratic process is not easy. Like, for example, right now there's an argument. I mean, the Honorable Joey Hugh is saying, well, this has not been the will of the people. This is a marriage of inconvenience. Well, not marriage of convenience, sorry. Now, I don't know. I mean, this has been the will of the people, but the will of the people has not come out with an absolute majority for any particular party. This is the will of the people. Once the will is unclear, then there is room for negotiation. I mean, he could argue, for example, that the other two parties are a coalition of losers. He could argue that, because he would say that none of them got what he got. But then there are arguments that the total number of votes which voted for those two parties who have formed a government are more than what the PPM got.
Right
now, this raises a lot of issues. Also, as you know, in the U.S., the president doesn't have to even have a majority in either house of Congress. They can still be a president. Is that something that in Cayman one wants to consider? But I mean, there are even suggestions. I know that I think it's James Whittaker has suggested that there should be even an election directly to certain ministerial positions, which is, again, a very, very, very interesting idea. And talking about ministerial positions, it is interesting that Julie Hunter, the now Honorable Julie Hunter, did not wind up with a ministry. Very often, somebody with that kind of a background, I think she's got a banking background, and so a mature person could have wound up with a ministry. But the problem, you see, is that I think to persuade the independents to join, they probably demanded the ministerial positions. Okay?
I'm sure, yeah.
Exactly, because otherwise they would have said, look, I mean, why do we want to come with you? If we're going to be backbenchers, we might as well just stay as independents. So, and since Julie Hunter was already in the bag, in the sense that she wouldn't resign from the National Party because they didn't give her a ministerial position, they decided, well, look, we won't give you a ministerial position. We'll bring in the other people because we need to give them these positions for them to come. And sometimes that's a political price you pay. You reward those who you are trying to pull in, but those which are already in the bag, you say, you're going to have to wait. But that's the reality of politics. I think she I don't think Julie Hunter really had much of a choice, but I think she seems to have taken it well. And in the dynamics of government, who knows what's going to happen in the future. But I think all this comes to one thing. Both this issue and the last issue we discussed, there is need for constitutional reform in the Cayman Islands. I think Andre was quite correct in saying, look, We worked diligently to ensure that within 24 hours we had a government, and I think that is good. But we can never always be sure of that in future, So I think it is really important that some kind of constitutional reform is held. A lot of issues also, like recalling of candidates. I think to me that has to be thought about. The issue also of people switching camp after they are elected. That's also an issue, and so many other things. Now, Ossie, I won't talk about the Pope because we've already talked so much about this. I've taken so much time. I'll call you about the Pope at another time.
Okay, well, I was stressing the fact that he's American, first American Pope, but then I was reading another article here that while he will be the first American to fill the role of Pope, while he's still considered as much a cardinal from Latin America because of the many years that he spent as a missionary in Peru, but he also has Peruvian nationality, as well. So that'll be interesting to see how much claim the U.S. may have for him at the end of the day, now that he also has Peruvian nationality.
Well, you see, the thing about the Pope, I went to, for most of my primary school, I went to Catholic schools, although I did go to a Seventh-day Adventist school as well. And so, I do have a certain amount of affinity to it. But I do have a problem with the whole papacy thing, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things, for example, is the issue of celibacy. Uh-huh. Celibacy was never introduced initially as a religious dictate. It was introduced, you will know this, as a financial measure. They used to recruit priests who were married, but then there were financial problems in the church. So they said, okay, for a little while, we won't get people in who are married because it will be too expensive for the church. So they started to get only people who were not married. But then it assumed a life of its own. And later on now they said, oh, no. We'll only get people who are married, who are not married. And then the institution began. Mm-hmm. So because to me, most people don't want to. We are not physiologically made and psychologically made to be celibate. And as a result, what has happened, and this argument exists out there, as a result of this forced celibacy, the people who have gravitated towards the priesthood, I'm sorry, sometimes they've been pedophiles, mm-hmm. sometimes they've been homosexuals. And so they say this institution is what has caused some of the problems that they are having there now. And yet, when you think of it, the Catholic Church has had never any problems before with changing the rules. As Catholics, we were told, well, on Friday you can't eat meat. But after centuries, the Pope said, no, it's all right, you can now eat meat. For a long time, we were told that Catholics, homosexuality is wrong, okay? But what did Pope Francis say? Pope Francis said, no, I do believe that atheists and homosexuals will still go to heaven, okay? So what is the problem with changing the rule if you've already changed all these other rules? Mm-hmm. And then I have a problem also with the idea that you can have a little territory within Italy, which is has got about the people who are citizens, they are about 48 or something like that. And all of us in the international community, we have been forced to accept that is a state, yep. which exactly. Why should that be? Do you think that would be allowed if Cayman said that we want little Cayman to become a state, or China said we want a little place in our place to become a state? Mm-hmm. That's an imposition on the international community.
Goes to show you the power of the institution, or the clout that the institution has. Yeah.
And then last point, OC, we know what happened during the Second World War, that the papacy supported Nazism. This is not usually openly decided. This supported Nazism. There are stories of priests who have children and secret wives and so on and so forth. There used to be a program way back, I think about 35 years ago, called the Borgias. BORGIAS. And it went into some of these details of the problems of the papacy. And last book I read on this was called God's Bankers. And it talks about how the papacy was used to raise taxes for any dictatorial government which arose in Italy. And they used to have, I forget for them, the little certificates they used to give. They used to be called certificates for forgiveness of what were called venial sins. In other words, little sins which are forgivable. And so you could buy these certificates as forgiveness for sins, but that was a tax measure for the government and so forth. So to me, this institution, I think it has done good around the world, but I think it has got a lot of fundamental problems. It needs to be changed so that it can become more relevant.
Billy,
Ossie, I thank you for your time.
Thank you for indulging us, for that length of time as well.
Yes, but thanks very much.
Take care. Okay, folks, we're going to take our last commercial break. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
The 24th Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts, Joy, is here. Presented by the New Self-Help Foundation, Sunday, June 29th at the Hawkwheel Theatre. Awesome performances by actress Caitlin Tyson, Erica Asai, Rico Rolando, Jade Dixon, Williams Quartet, Dequan Smith, UCCI Dance Company, Cayman Music School, Radiance Dance Studio, Centerpoint Dance Studio, John Gray Elite Strings, Lloyd Barker, Ola Jimmy LaPierre, and more. Tickets cost $15 CI prepaid and $20 at the gate, and available from the #1 shoe shop and Winners Circle Sports. Talent Exposition of the Arts, Joy, hosted by Anika Connolly and Lloyd Barker, June 29th at the Hawkwheel Theatre. Gates open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. Part proceeds from this event to benefit the Foundation Educational Development Training Program of the Arts.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite. Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise him, praise him, praise him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. We have a caller. I'm going to take that call in a second. Just want to share the last few WhatsApp messages that we received. The person says that they feel that we need to change to a national voting system. Yes, some have advocated for that. Some have also argued that we could have part constituency voting and part national voting as well. In another instance, the person who spoke about Section 49, let me just see if I have that one. The person said they think that Section 49 could use some clarity. Subsection 2A should read, where a party wins a majority of all seats, the governor shall appoint as Premier the Member of Parliament recommended by that party. Subsection 2B should read, if no party wins a majority, the Governor shall appoint as Premier the Member of Parliament recommended by a majority of all MPs. Subsection 3 should basically remain the same. That is, a secret ballot is required. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon. See, I had no intention of calling in.
We said something that jolted you, right?
Yeah. I hope Bill is still listening, because two things. Bill talked about every election you go to Parliament and elect a leader, a premier. He is, I don't know if he's colonialist or what, but he wants to put us back to where we were. That's what we did before, if he will remember. I'm sure he has a good enough memory for that. We have moved on from that, okay? Only in exceptional circumstances are we now doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And moved on from a vote of no confidence in each member of the executive. You remove the premier and everybody else falls.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So we have moved, Bella, we have moved on, and you can call me on my private number if you like. The other one is, Bella brought up just a minute ago about Joey calling this a marriage of convenience. Oh, see, how quickly do we forget? I would like to ask Joey, and he needs to explain to the people of this country, what was Juliet going over to them, to PPM in 2013? Was that not a marriage of convenience to get? And they did not even go to Parliament. Alden was appointed. They didn't go to Parliament. Alden was appointed, which I challenged. Remember, I told you that. And what happened in 2017 when McKeever, John, and all of those, Austin, went over and joined them? Was that a marriage of convenience or marriage out of necessity? Now, is the PPM saying now that you do as I say but not as I do? Are you kidding? And there will be another time to talk about them nominating Joey Kenneth, and it being seconded for Joey to be premier. It shows it is the lack of leadership and understanding what Parliament is about and democracy. The lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, shall we all perish? Okay? Now I want somebody to chew on those three. Thank you very much, Jose.
Okay. Before you go though, while he may have called that a marriage of convenience, and you rightly pointed out other instance of it, I'm not sure that he was saying that was the only one.
Yeah, that was what? Sorry.
I'm not sure that he was saying that was this time was the only time that we've had a marriage of convenience.
Well, the papers need to be more clear then.
Yeah.
Papers need to bring it out clearer, because
if he had said this is another instance of a marriage of convenience, that would be a different story. Yeah.
Then we're talking a different ball game.
Right.
It reflects then on the PPM for twice. And the biggest marriage of convenience was 2021. So we have been down this road before, and you know what is it? Is it sour grapes now? Come on, let's get on with running the country and give those who are there, whether we like it or not, the opportunity to fail
or to succeed,
because it is expected that you succeed. The opportunity to fail. Let's get on. That's how this must go.
Yeah, I agree.
The people have spoken. There may be some merit in that because we're a part of the system, the people should elect the majority in the party. But the people have spoken. You can't change that. This is democracy, and democracy has some serious underbellies, but you got to live with those underbellies and misgivings as well.
Now,
but you have to live with them.
Okay. Now, while I still have you here, even though we only have a few minutes left, with the various manifestos that have been put out, the independents with their individual ones and the parties, with those, how difficult is it going to be to mesh everything together, to decide, to come up with what is going to be prioritized and what is going to be put on the back burner?
Well, I think we'll see the bigger issues, such as you were talking a while ago about immigration reform, the dump, those type of things. I think those will be easily agreed upon.
Mm-hmm.
But now we will find out, and they will understand what democracy requires: the art of compromise. And if it's about love of country, they will compromise. If they don't, they are going to fall. That's simple. They will fall within 6 months to a year if they do not adhere to the art of compromise. They have to compromise. That's politics. There were many times, see that I wanted Southeast then, and I had to put it off because something else was priority. So you have to bite your tongue and back off.
Yeah. And there were some times when you needed more for roads because you wanted to get that done, that something else was sacrificed as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we see that all the time in politics, and what it takes is the representative, the member, to go out and explain it to his people. We cannot do it now. I will go at it again next year to see if we can get it in the budget, or we can do this, or we can do that. And we had to compromise to do this because this had priority. Once you explain it, that's all people want. They want an explanation why they're not getting what they want, of course.
Yep, true.
And they're intelligent enough to recognize that they're not going to get everything they want. But the bigger issue should not be a problem. They can come to a conclusion. Yes, we're going to address that as number 3, number 2, number 1. If they complete it, is the issue. They need to compromise there too, because everybody wants a different thing for immigration, cited different things for immigration and for the dump and whatnot. So, they got to learn to compromise if they want to advance this country.
Yeah. One of our listeners talked about the fact that this says immigration needs to be urgently attended to and board members change. Now, we know that, membership on boards to a certain extent, is sort of like, one of the gifts that you give your supporters, if I could use that word. There's a better word for it, but I can't think of it, right now. But you appoint them to boards. How important it is to appoint people to boards who have experience, as well as understanding of the board, that they can't really go in there with their own personal agenda, that they have legislation that they have to adhere to.
Absolutely. But you understand, O.C., that every politician, wherever you may come from, look, let's for the benefit of this conversation, let's talk about Trump. You see him appoint people who are on the other side? No, you appoint people who is going to carry out your mandate. And if it's necessary to train them on the laws of that board, the control of that board, then you do that. But you need people who are going to carry out your mandate, or you are going to fall flat on your face. Now, if you got fall flat in your face, you might as well have someone who supports you, who is capable, and will carry out your mandate. That's what politics is about. We're here to run a country. We're not here to have this disagreements at that level. We're here to run a country. We're not running the fish shop where you can do what you want.
Yep. Okay, Mr. McLean, thank you very much, for that as well. We have to get together in the studio like we did, before. We got to get you back in here again, be fairly early as well. But I know we're busy. And again, we want to wish Miss Allison a speedy recovery, as well. And, give her our best.
All right, Ossie, thank you very much. And I just want to say, and I should have said this first, I want to congratulate Ezard for becoming Speaker, because, I have a lot of confidence in Ezard Miller. And I know Ezard can handle that. I know that they will benefit much, especially them new ones, because that's what Ezard believes in. I believe in that as well. Give them the opportunity. And you show them and teach them, because that's how I learned. I've said many times I had the best teachers in the world. Even McKeever Bush was one of my teachers, and I'll never forget that. That will forever be etched in my memory. And I encourage the young ones, the new ones, the not so young at CP, not that he just as old as he can be too, but the new ones, that they should embrace Ezard and pick his memory and make him teach them, get him to teach them all of the parliamentary processes.
Yep. Okay, thank you very much. We'll talk soon.
And also see, I would encourage every one of them, every time there is a conference someplace,
go to it.
Attend. Don't make it excuse about, I did the last one. You apply to go to the next one too.
Yep. Okay.
All right,
all the best. Take care, folks. I want to thank all of you for joining us as well on Talk Today. I welcome you to join me tomorrow morning on For the Record at 7:30. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen.
Shaken yet standing.